Hello, my very wonderful people. It's very nice to be with you again. We are still on course on the historical analogy of events all over the world. Mr. Nwabara, good news. It's still on course. I welcome you all on board. Hope you're keeping safe. Keep keeping on. God will see us through. Today, we're continuing the discussion of the Khan and Bono Empire, and that will bring us to the end of the discussion of that vast empire, that kingdom that saw prosperity in our last previous discussion, jihadist attack, the emergence of Al-Kanemi. Al-Kanemi was invited to save the situation by the mice. And how is he faring? Under Al-Kanemi, a lot of good things have happened, and we're going to see all of them right about time. So what are we up to today in the history of the Bono Empire? Well, we're going to see the development under Al-Kanemi. Development under Al-Kanemi. Remember, we are still looking at Khan and Bono in perspective. The vast warrior city that saw a lot of prosperity and subsequent decline. So what are you to learn today? By the end of the lesson, you should be able to see how the Bono dynasty further developed under Al-Kanemi. You would also see the impact made by the regime of Shehu Omar, who succeeded Al-Kanemi. So today I'm going to point out all this. Now, Al-Kanemi has settled at Kokawa and brought the Maize and provincial chief under his control. Remember, he was invited, during the reign of Dunama to save the situation of the jihadist attack. Then when he became the only authority that could say something in Bono, he had to exercise his power to bring the chiefs under his control. He started with the deposition of the Galadima in 1815. And in 1820, after the death of Dunama, Al-Kanemi installed Ibrahim, the younger brother of Duname, as Mai. But how Ibrahim influence on events in Bono was extremely limited. We can see that the real power behind the Bono throne was the Shehu Al-Kanemi. So we are entering another phase of Bono history when the Emir, is a visitor now from Kembu, a scholar from Kembu, coming to rule Bono kingdom. And Ibrahim and the father will be one among the remaining Safawa dynasties, the people that had their descendants from pastoralism that have been ruling the kingdom for many years, whose run lasted for more than 1,000 years. See our Shehu, our Kanemi, a devout scholar and Muslim. Now, the Safawa Mai remained the nominal leader until 1846, but power belonged to that religious leader, Shehu Al-Kanemi, and all his successors. He was in control of power. And having consolidated his power, he concentrated his power on reconstruction in economic reconstruction, and he addressed the problem of external threat from all directions. So he began to establish steps to safeguard the Bono frontiers. Al-Kanemi specifically turned his attention to his most serious enemies from the western frontier. Now, who are they? The Fulanis. Remember the Fulani incursion, the Fulani disturbance, and how Al-Kanemi came to save the day, and now world authority. So he is very wary of Fulani incursion from the west. Now, he began his Western campaign in 1824 with the objective of imposing his own authority over the territories in the vast West. He destroyed Shua, settlement and subdue the people. Then he then proceeded to Katagum. Thereafter, he established military posts to protect the western frontier. We want to know the academic's effort. Letter was directed against the northern dependencies of Damagaram, Monjo, and Gomer. You know, they had formerly been under the control of Yerima. You know, power. When you have power, you're moving. You try not to see something by your border that will bring a problem to you. You have to conquer them and subdue them. Now, in the sphere of economics, academics' first step were directed at. Now, like we mentioned, in the sphere of economy, his main aim is to normalize relationship with his neighbors in order to ensure continued healthy commercial interaction. And trade routes that were subsequently opened, they now facilitated the flow of resources into the metropolis. Of course, you know, it was not doing well ab initio. So he started doing well in that regard. Now, in 1820, he entered into alliance with the Fezzan. Now, the Trans-Saharan route that had closed, remember the Sudanic Trans-Saharan salt slave and the slave trade and the trade in salt and livestock. So all those things reopened once more until 1830 when Fezzan lost control of that trade route to the Arabs. As you can see, later he will enter into alliance with the Arabs. So at a later stage, he entered into alliance with the Arabs. He used diplomacy to deal with the Ottoman authorities in North Africa. When we say the Ottoman, that is their representation, their dynasty. You know, they actually believe so much in control. They are a ruling dynasty that believes so much in control, and they were a very great people. So Akanemi was able to enter into relationship with them, and that also brought prosperity to the Borno kingdom. And in the 1830s, Akanemi extended Borno's recognition to the Ottoman caliphs. Like we mentioned, their chiefs, their caliphs, he was able to reward them. And his effort won more alliance for Borno and succeeded in re-establishing the international reputation of Borno government. So it was so significant what Akanemi had to do with these ones. It is interesting to note that he rebuilt a sound and effective government with a strong military force to sustain it. Akanemi transformed the old Borno institution and greatly reduced the power of the old offices of Maina and Kaguna. So he's working tremendously in that regard. Leading officials continue to live in the capital, but except for the Galadima, whose capital was moved to Sierra Niaren. Now, Borno, under Akanemi, witnessed very significant social development, even economic development, political development. Witnessed that the key to advancement was no longer if you're a freeborn citizen, but are you loyal to the Shehu? Are you selfless in your service? That was the criteria to measure whether one will advance politically or not. For the first time in the history of Borno, during the reign of Akanemi, dependent people were given a stake in the central government. And a new elite of advisors emerged around Akanemi at the center. Akanemi's regime was concerned with raising the moral tone of society along Islamic lines. So by the time he died in 1837, Borno had gone a long way to solving its major problem. So many things that Akanemi put in place for the sake of Borno to really emerge. Now, when he died, Shehu Omar entered. So we now enter the phase of the Shehus in Borno. Of course, Akanemi is still a Shehu. His reign, Borno, Shehu Omar, his reign first so many problems. For example, there was renewed tension on the western frontier as a result of the establishment of two new emirates after the death of Akhnemi. Now, Sheikh Omar also mounted several campaigns to the west in order to check further encroachment on his territory. And formal peace was made between Sheikh Omar and Caliph Aliyu Baba of Sokoto. So he succeeded in pacifying Zinda again and reducing it to vassalage. So he actually made a lot of peaceful moves that are so interesting, so worthy to count about, to talk about. You see Sheikh Omar there with members of his cabinet. He's a devout Islamic religious leader as well. However, the most serious problem he had on his ascension was that of the Safawa. Remember the Safawa, the ruling dynasty that have been there for long, over 1,000 years. And I told you earlier that my Ibrahim and his son Ali were the remnant, Dunamas brother Ibrahim that was allowed by Akhanemi to continue to rule right there. So form an alliance with the Sultan Wada in an attempt to free themselves. They don't want the grip of this Shehu. So their two attempts failed, and Ibrahim Ali were both killed. And the Safawa family was destroyed. So the 1,000 or more than 1,000 year rule of the Safawas was over. And following this defeat of the Safawa, Shehu Umar expanded his court and adopted some of the title of the Safa. He also elevated people who were loyal to him to important position in a government. So, but however, Sheikh Umar was not a strong leader. Like most of them will never remain strong. And he was unable to control the rivalry between the most senior officials in the empire. And that led to open clashes. Later on, his brother, who he never believed was his fiercest opponent, mustered enough support to overthrow the Sheikh in 1853. And that brought us to the end of that discussion on how Borno rose and declined. It's an interesting story about the Borno kingdom, how they rose and how they come to an end. Continue making use of your materials, watch your videos, read your notes that have been uploaded to you. Make sure you do well in your tests. We'll continue watching and recommending you for good. In our next class, we'll be talking about the history of some other people. Till then, love you all. Goodbye. And remain blessed. Remember, for you to succeed, you need to work hard. There's no gainsaying about it. Thank you very much.